what has been your biggest day, week, and even month so far?
So biggest revenue day was 90,000.
Yeah.
Biggest profit day was 35,000. Biggest profit month around 600 to 700,000. I'm looking at the numbers and I really can't even believe it. And then it hits my bank account and then I still don't really even believe it. You know, it's just so surreal, and it was crazy how fast it happened. Hey man, how's it going?
Bro. Good, man. Good. It's good to finally be on here with you.
I know, man. I'm excited.
Bro, #1 ClickBank affiliate right in front of me right here.
I didn't really think this was going to happen, but it just kind of happened, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's going to be good. I'm really looking forward to capturing it, talking with you, honestly, and just hearing your story, because I mean, it's probably one of the most inspiring, one of the most crazy, mind-blowing ones. And for you to live it, I'm sure it feels good.
Yeah, man. It's there's a lot to it. You know, I've done it all. You know, I've worked pretty much the crappiest jobs you can think of, you know, and
yeah,
now I was able to get #1 affiliate on ClickBank for Q2. And, you know, it's something that I didn't think was going to happen, but it did, you know, and I'm grateful.
Awesome. So we'll jump in it. So, all right, hey everyone. So here today we've got Cole Danielson, and he's had an amazing story, right? Absolutely crazy story. But do you just want to introduce yourself, you know, where you're from, how old you are? And we'll just jump into your story.
Yeah, so my name's Cole Danielson, 26 years old. I'm from Palm Springs, California. I lived out in St. Louis, Missouri for a little bit. I was going to school, playing baseball and all that. And now I'm actually in Newport Beach, California.
Nice, sweet. So you're the #1 ClickBank on affiliate right now, right? And before you started from nothing before you joined the course. So do you want to discuss a little bit about your story, about, you know, what it was like growing up? How were you as you were growing up? What were your ambitions? What were your goals? And you know, how did the trajectory of your life lead you to where you are now?
Growing up, I'd always played baseball. I was always going to school, but I knew school wasn't my thing. I was pretty average, C, B student, but I really wanted to play baseball. I really wanted to make it big in baseball. So that's kind of the path I went down. And while I was playing baseball, I kind of had a plan B. I was I wanted to get into the online space. So I always kind of learned about it, never really took action because I had different priorities at the time. So when I was done playing baseball, I was out in St. Louis, Missouri, and I had gotten a sales job. I was doing face-to-face sales in the middle of Walmart.
Yeah.
And you probably can't imagine how that is, but I would stand in the middle of Walmart for 12 hours a day, pitching internet to everyone that walks by.
Yeah.
And I've got some crazy stories with that alone, but I was telling Mark this. I had a guy that threatened to kill me one day in the middle of Walmart because I just said something that made him mad. And
how much were you getting paid for that? You know, standing in Walmart, just pitching stuff. What was the sort of salary for that type of job?
So it was commission based. I mean, there were some weeks that were good. You know, a good week was $1,000 in a week.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, compare that to this, that's nothing. But there was one week I'd made $45 in 1 week.
Yeah.
It was rough week for me. And I was that's it. I can't be doing this. And I was so low on money. I was pulling out loans just to pay for rent. I actually this is kind of embarrassing for me, but I had to move back home with my parents when I was 25 years old.
Yeah.
You know, and that was kind of the moment I was I've got to make this work. I've got to make something work. And, you know, I stumbled across this program and it just blew the top off, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think you know, just before I had my massive success as well, I went through a dark night period as well. So you say it might be embarrassing, but everyone sort of faces those periods in life where, you know, you come you're trying to do something, or whatever happens, life gets you down, and you go through like a really sort of dark night period. And that's where most people realize, that they need to make a change in their life. And then, one of the big quotes that I heard was, if you want things to change, you have to change. And so that was a really big thing for me when I went through my dark period. But as soon as that dark period, like I came out of it having success. So it sounds like you had a similar period. And although at the time it can seem sort of uncertain, but now looking back on it, I'm sure, that happened for a reason, for you to then experience those emotions to then push yourself to like where you are now.
No, yeah. And it really pushes you to like not want to have to like go back to that. There's the days you wake up and I'm like, oh, I don't want to work. But then you think about like the bad times in your life, and you're just like, I'm not going back to that. I'm going to do it no matter what,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you've got the positive motivation. The positive motivation is like, I want to be a millionaire. I want to make this money. I want to do that. But then you also have the negative of like, I don't want to go back to that situation. I don't want to make $43 in a week and stuff. So it's good to have those balance and the duality of that perspective. So then you can like actually, have the motivation and drive to push yourself for where you want to go.
No, that's exactly right, man. That's exactly how it is.
Yeah. So was that your last job, the Walmart thing, or did you have another job after that before you jumped into this course?
No. So when I moved back, I started working with like my dad's construction business, and that was good and all. I started making a little bit more money. I was actually able to save more money because I didn't have so many expenses, but that wasn't something that I wanted to do the rest of my life. I always knew that I wanted to like make an online business work for me. And I actually dabbled in Facebook ads about like 3 years ago. It was with another course creator, but I actually had a little bit of success. I was like $40 shy from hitting my first $1,000 day. And I'm going to sleep and I turned up my budget. I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. This ad's popping off. I'm going to wake up tomorrow. I'm going to hit my first $1,000 day. And my account was shut down. I was like, oh man, this sucks. I'd taken my girlfriend's account, started warming that up, started going through the process. That got shut down. Took my mom's account. That got shut down. So I was like, I'm going to put this to the side for a little bit. Everything with life got in the way. I had different priorities. And when this came around, I just jumped in on it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So is that the only other online experience you've had, running sort of Facebook ads, or have you done any other different business models at all?
I tried native ads a little bit. That was quite a while ago. And that was terrible for me. I lost like $5,000 doing that.
Yeah.
But I mean, affiliate marketing, I knew affiliate marketing worked because I would see these people's screenshots and I was like, it's insane that people are hitting $30,000 in one day,
Yeah. Well, now people on my Instagram are looking at your screenshots. Like I've had people message me saying like, oh, I printed out that screenshot. They have it on the wall. So like, you're like the next, big thing. So speaking of that, so you've come from working through Walmart, making like $40 a week to $1,000 a week, very low end sort of income, to then, moving back to your parents' house. And how did that sort of make you feel? Did you realize that was like a necessary situation, or were you kind of just like, this is not ideal? Or how did those emotions like stir in you to actually, like when you did that move?
Like I said, it was embarrassing for me, but I was never like not motivated. I was always like pushing to like learn more and trying to like make it work and trying to make something work. And like, I was just so hungry for like knowledge at that point in time. I mean, I still am, but like back then it was just like, I was consuming so much like content, knowledge online, trying to like learn as much as possible, because I was just in such a bad situation.
Yeah. And so from that to then joining the course, I mean, it's pretty crazy because when we first started the course, because we created the YouTube method, and then, me and Keegan had success, Rob and Gary, we brought in like the power sell people and we started having success. But then to launch the course and to see how much, because we had this business model, we're like, all right, this is going really good. We'll launch it, see, get people some results. And then to hear stories like all the other students we've had and your story, it's like so humbling to actually be able to provide the knowledge and the value to help people change their life, such as yours. And so just for everyone listening, because I'm sure everyone wants to know, I mean, there's so much stuff to dive into, but what has been your biggest day, week, and even month so far?
So biggest revenue day was 90,000.
Yeah.
Biggest profit day is 35,000. Biggest profit month around 600,000 to 700,000.
$700,000 profit in 1 month, bro. That is absolutely like, that's actually insane. How did it feel when you, I mean, obviously you worked your way up there, but like when you hit that $700,000 month, like how did that make you feel?
It's just going on, and like I'm looking at the numbers and I really can't even believe it, and then it hits my bank account and then I like still don't really even believe it. But then it's just like I tell like other people and they can't believe it either. It's just so surreal, and it was crazy how like fast it happened. Life completely flipped in the matter of like months.
Yeah.
It's really life changing. I was like, I could do like so much now. This is it, this is making money online.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, you've practically just become like an overnight millionaire, basically, within like a couple of months. Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I saw on your Instagram, you mentioned when you joined the course, you spent like your last like couple $1,000s on it, right? Is that right?
So I had 2,000 to run ads. So I bought the course and I had like 2,000 like in the bank, but I also had like a credit line of 14 grand.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to spend the 14 grand, the credit line, on something that wasn't working. So as soon as I found a winning ad, that's when I poured that 14 grand. I applied for the Amex Gold card. Like I was just moving so fast because I found something that worked. And I was like, I've got to take advantage of it right now.
Yeah. So from $2,000 in the bank account to making $700,000 a month, man, that's actually crazy. And I'm sure everyone listening to it thinks it's like, I mean, it sort of sounds like a sort of like you literally became like a millionaire, like in how many, like 3, 4, 5 months, even 6 months?
Yeah, like 7 months or so.
7 months, man. That's crazy. And you've done over like $1 mil or 2 mil profit now since you joined, or?
Yeah, close to 2 million.
Yeah. Well, wow, dude, that's actually so crazy. And to be able to speak to you now as well, like just to hear your story and be face to face, because we've been talking on Instagram a bit, but this is the first time we've ever talked. So it's like honestly crazy to actually see that. And now #1 ClickBank affiliate as well with the Diamond Award. Yeah.
Yeah, I got the Diamond Award. It's in the other room. I can grab it if you like, but
we can just show us a picture of it or something. We got some pictures, but man, that's crazy. So people can't really understand how fast you can scale. And obviously you're proof of how fast you can scale once you really find a winner. So you had $2,000 in your bank account. Run us through a little bit of like how you sort of came at the business model, like your sort of awareness or perspective of, all right, I need to test this many ads. I need to find a winner. Like run us through that process so people can sort of understand how fast your life could change, just by launching a couple ads.
I had run Facebook ads before, so I kind of knew how the business model worked. I knew what an ad was. I knew what a funnel was. I knew how important testing was. The first week I'd made 5 ads. They were all unprofitable, lost me a bunch of money. And I was like, when I say a bunch, I mean, maybe like $500, but I knew I just had to keep testing more. So I launched like 10 more ads, made back like $500. And then I just started allocating my budget to what was like getting me sales, and then I just started to break down what I was doing in ads that were making me sales and what I was doing in ads that weren't making me any money at all. And then you start to see like some commonalities, and then you start to like allocate more budget. You start to test those commonalities. And then from there, it just stumbled across an ad that was getting me a crazy ROI, and like I said, it was just one ad that made me all that money.
Yeah. And because I remember when you first messaged me on Instagram, I think you made like 50K profit or something in a month, or maybe it was like 80K profit. I remember your first ever screenshot back when you had the baseball profile picture on Instagram. And then, and then like 2 months later, you're like, oh, I've made like 500K profit. I'm like, dude, you're absolutely crushing it. So, but that's a really good point. Like we always say in the course, like split testing is the most important thing. Like when you realize that you just need to find that one winner or those winning ads to get a highly profitable campaign, all it takes is like, how can I be as effective as possible to find that winner. And so, as you said, you tested like 10 ads with a $500 with around 500 spend, which shows that, you know, you don't have to spend so much money to test a lot of stuff. And I think one thing that people do when they first start is spend too much money on losing ads, and they don't test as effectively. Like they might launch 1 or 2 ads thinking, you know, this is going to be the winner. But the key is really to have really quality ads, but also, you know, pump out a lot of ads to see what's happening so you can get the awareness. You're like building the practice up. And then, as you said, you can find commonalities and then eventually find a winner.
When you have like a lower budget too, you have to be like more careful with spending money on something that doesn't work. You know, if you spend the AOV made no sales, then the ad's not going to turn around, you know?
Yeah.
A winning ad is going to, in my experience, a winning ad is going to get you sales under $100 at low spend.
Exactly.
You know,
I agree. The initial conditions, you know, if you launch 3 ads, 2 of them don't make any sales within the first 2 days. One of them's already 100% ROI on the first day. It's like you can, that's what happens. You can clearly see that one of them's crushing, the other 2 aren't. So when you have that perspective and awareness, you're like, all right, well, I just need to find more ones like that straight away that perform.
Yeah.
All right, cool, sweet. Yeah, because that's interesting for people to understand when they're coming into this. You know, a lot of people will be watching this that are already in the course or like looking to join the course. So that is a really good perspective. And that's what we really harp on about. Like, I always think of it like an oil company. They know money's out there. Like you know money now that you've already had the success. Like, you know, the money's out there. It's just about finding that vein. And for oil companies, they know once they strike oil, they're going to make like billions of dollars. So they just need to find that one oil well that's going to produce. So that's how I think of it. You've probably made a massive contribution to this, but our students in the last year generated $122 million, which just shows that like there's so much money out there. You just need to understand how to like find the right ad and scale it up.
Yeah, man, I totally believe that. You know, that's awesome for you guys for like coming out with this course and teaching other people how to do this. You know, you guys could have kept this to yourself, but you didn't.
I think the biggest thing for me was like, I had a sort of similar story to you. I had like a dark night period. I found Rob and Gary. They gave me all my success through joining their original course, right? And then so for me, that made such a massive impact on my life that like I want to have the same effect on other people, because if it wasn't for them, I don't know where I would be. I'd probably still be in university. I wouldn't be here right now talking with you for sure. I'd probably, who knows what I'd be doing, working in a cafe still or something. So being able to then pass that forward as well is like, I think the best thing ever.
No, yeah. Like I said, man, you guys literally did change my life. And it's insane. You know, it's sometimes I don't even like believe it's real. And back then I didn't even think this was possible at all, but it happened. And I mean, it's 100% real.
Yeah. And so did you go to like college or anything, or?
I pretty much went to college just to play baseball.
Yeah.
I would just sit through classes, not really learn a whole lot. It was funny. I was in a marketing class. This is funny. And like the books, all they taught were like billboard advertising, radio advertising, and like all these like old school forms of advertising. I was like, this isn't even like really useful for me right now, you know? And I dropped out of college a year ago. So
yeah,
here we are.
Yeah, bro. I did the same thing. I did a marketing degree as well, learning about how to billboards, newspapers. Like one assignment I had was like make a packet of chips and like do the labeling on it. Like all this sort of stupid stuff. I mean, you do get some sort of basic skills, but like none of those skills translated into like making millions of dollars online, you know, like none of them did.
No.
So yeah, I'd also dropped out of uni. But coming from where you came from, moving back to your parents. So now you've moved out to California.
Yeah, I'm in Newport Beach now.
Newport, yeah. And you bought a new car as well, I saw.
Yeah, that was kind of my big splurge as a R8. You know, it's never had a fast car like that, and it's a blast to drive right now. I don't regret it right now. Maybe I will in the future, but it's fun right now.
No, man, definitely. You got to treat yourself for having success. And I mean, such meteoric, like fast success as well. Like, I mean, it's awesome. You definitely got to treat yourself sometimes, especially that's just like that car. R8's like, if I got a car, I'll get an Audi R8 as well. But bro, that's like minuscule amount to the amount of profit you've made, you know? So it's like, you know, it's good. It's good. But yeah, how's your perspective on life changed now that you've come to such a large amount of money? Like, how's your life different? How are you like viewing life? You know, when you're stuck in a job, you have like no time to do anything. You have no time to really focus on yourself, no time to focus on your health, passions, your mentality and everything. You're sort of just trapped. You have no time. You've got like this heavy burden of stress, like going to work and all this sort of stuff. And then once you don't go to work anymore, you make money online. It opens your brain up to so what's possible, and you have so much more free space in your mind to think about things. And then couple that with like millions of dollars, you know, it completely changes the way you view life. So I think it'll be interesting to get your perspective on that.
Running across a lot of money, there's a lot of like different opportunities that come your way. I mean, I get hit up all the time about investment opportunities, this and that. And I've always been kind of a workhorse, and I've always had like a really good work ethic, even when I was working a lot. You know, I've been going to the gym for 5, 6 years now, and that didn't change when I was working 8, 10 hours a day. I've always stayed active. Now I kind of just have more time for myself, have more time to read, more time to learn stuff, and more time to grow the business, you know?
Yeah. That was always my goal. Like, honestly, once I went through on my self-development stage, I was like, all right, I need to get as rich as fast as possible, because, you know, then you're just sort of set. You have so much time to compound money. You have so much free time, so much more mental like ability to like sort of project your life forward and be like, all right, this is what I actually want to do with my life, rather than sort of being stuck in the system, you know, per se.
Yeah, you did it at a really young age. What age did you do it at?
Well, I started really like making money at like 23. Well, no, 22. I just turned 24. Sometimes I forget my age, but yeah, I really started making money at like 22. I just turned 24 like 2 weeks ago. Yeah. But
That's
it's
awesome.
it's good to jump on here with someone that's like very similar age to me, man. Like it's amazing to see. Let's just run back to you. You first started running your ads. When did you have your first profitable ad from running your ads?
I would say about like 2 weeks in.
2 weeks
You know,
in.
and I wanted to say this too. For that campaign, that winning campaign I had made about 60 videos in total.
Yeah.
I had gotten my first profitable ad, but I still kept testing more. You know, out of the 60 videos, I probably had 6 profitable ones. And then I had just one that just blew the cover off, you know, and that's the one I just ran with. But
Mm.
but yeah, I had a profitable ad fairly quickly, but I didn't stop testing there. I kept testing from there on.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I always do as well. We call it the evolution method now. Because once you have an ad that's sort of going average, as you said, you can sort of see the commonalities and what's sort of performing. And then you can sort of combine them and evolve it, right? So you might test a different hook or an opening scene or a different part of the script. And then you can run it against the other one and see, all right, this one's performing better, and scale it up. And even when you have winning ads, as you said, you could always make some slight tweaks here and there or test different stuff. Because then you have like, you're just split testing your way to success. Like, this is performing, you find something that's better, you find something that's better. And then boom, you find something that absolutely crushes harder than anything you've seen before.
Exactly. And if I would have stopped after that first profitable ad, I don't think I would have hit however much I hit in revenue, 7 million in revenue or something.
Yeah. 7 million in revenue. So your overall ROI on that's like what, 20%?
25, 30.
Yeah. And so for everyone watching now, our benchmark normally is like 100% on low spend, but obviously you have to make this sort of, you have to sort of think about, all right, I can make 100% ROI on like 5K, you know, 5K, maybe even 10K. But then as you start pushing it, you're making way more money profit, but it's a lower ROI. And that's just something that you have to sort of be like, all right, I'm going to do that, because in your scenario, you make 90 grand in a day revenue. You make, what did you make? Like $36,000 profit or something?
Yeah. So that month, my best month, I was spending about 50 grand a day.
Yeah.
And I'd say on average, I was making back like 70, 75.
Yeah.
I mean, 70. Yeah, that's 50% or lower. You know, it's not as high ROI, but it's way more profit than I
Exactly.
would have making that lower spend.
Exactly. And so for a lot of people, that's like a ridiculous amount of money, like $20,000, $30,000 a day. It's like absolutely crazy, you know, for just the average person listening, it doesn't even compute. Like, did you actually think that that was possible for you to hit coming into this?
No shot, man. I honestly, I was just like, you know, I just want to make a full-time living online. Like $1,000 a day, I was cool with.
Yeah.
But when you find something that works, I got to go all in on it, and I did it fast. I got everything in line really quickly because I was like, this is it. I've got to put all my eggs in this right here and just ride it out. And I didn't know how long it was going to last. I really didn't. It was my first time ever having a real winning ad. So I mean, it was every day I was checking it. I was like, oh, is it going to die in a month? Is it going to die tomorrow? But I mean, the ad ran for like 7 months.
Yeah, 7 months. And that also gives good perspective for everyone else. So you had like a profit, and that was making you what, like 10, 20, 30K a day profit for 7 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, that is insane. That is crazy. And then for everyone listening as well, once you sort of understand the business model and you've tested, you understand like the concepts behind it, then it's very easy to just like sort of find another winner. And it's, as you've probably seen as well. Did you ever think that you would be spending 50 grand a day on anything?
I never had 50 grand in my life before this.
Yeah.
Like before this course, I had never had more than 10 grand in my bank account at one time. Ever.
Yeah.
When I first had 6 figures in my bank account, I was like, I literally couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Did you tell your friends and family once you started like seeing success, or did you keep it sort of low key?
When I first made I think like 5 grand in a day, I had told my parents, and my dad, the first thing he said was, is this legal?
Yeah.
So I tried to explain to them, and they don't really like understand that well. And I mean, I get it. They never really like grew up with the internet, but I've told my friends, I've tried to get them on board, but you can't force someone to do something. The
Yeah.
saying, you can lead a horse to water. You can't make them drink it.
Yeah. No, I feel the same way as well, man. Like everyone that I sort of grew up with, like had the opportunity to jump onto this stuff, and they could have been you, but they decided not to. And now it's me and you talking. And at the end of the day, it does come down to the internal drive. And I feel like, especially because you went through that sort of dark stage, it like spurred in your mind, like I need to do something. And I think that's very important for some people. And some people, when they're stuck in that stage, they don't think like that. But that is like one of them, I think, it could be a negative at the time, but a very beneficial stage of someone's life to realize that, like, it sort of shakes them up to realize they need to be doing something different. But yeah, so you hadn't had more than 10K in your bank account, and then to now like millions. It's nuts, man.
I had 2 grand in the bank. I had like nothing to lose, and I think that's where people like get it wrong, where it's like you can take a risk and take a chance to like better your future and make a ton of money. Like I was just willing to risk like the last 2 grand I had to my name. I was like, if I lose it, I'll just go work another crap job, make it back, and have another chance at it.
Yeah, 100%. And we'll, look at your story now. Look at like your progression from coming from that. Like it's actually a crazy sort of hero's journey story, coming from only 2 grand in your bank to now making $30,000 profit in a day. It's like, it's crazy. But also, like, as you said, you have to mentally want to make it. Like once you're in and you have belief and you're like, I'm going to make it, then you start acting with like strategy and like tactically, and you're actually going to do it. You're not like, oh, maybe I'll do this here and there. Like I was also talking to someone on Instagram, because I always message people back like on Instagram that message me. And he was like, oh man, like, I work a full-time job, and when I get home, I just want to watch Netflix, but I know that's bad, and I need to put time into, this. And I was like, dude, if you want to have a life like someone else isn't going to have, then you got to do what everyone else isn't doing. Like everyone comes home from work, they want to procrastinate. And that's what I was saying. When you have a job, you get caught in like the mental stress of it, and you come home, you don't want to do anything because you're like stuck and you have this burden on your mind. But like for you to break through that system, you have to really want to do it, and no one else can make you do it apart from you. Like, you joined our course and you actually took the work and you had the success. Like, you lead the horse to water. Like you found the water and you drank the water. But a lot of people get there and they just don't really give it their all, or they don't really, whether they don't have belief or they don't have the courage to do it like fully. I think that's the biggest thing, like actually knowing that you're going to succeed and you're going to have success.
Yeah. And to be honest, I mean, making these videos doesn't even really feel like work at all. I mean, I've done hard labor. I've stood in Walmart. I've been a pool boy. I've worked at so many different restaurants. I've done just the worst jobs ever. And like making videos it's not work at all. It really does not feel like it at all. And it's actually enjoyable for me. And I
Yeah,
think that's why I was able to like just bust out a ton of videos because I found joy in it.
exactly. Yeah. Well, if you love the process, then it's going to be easy, you know, like the
Yeah.
journey is the way, as some people say. And like, yeah, you got to love the process of making the videos, because the outcome of enjoying the process is you can make millions of dollars. Basically, that's like literally the outcome of it. And so speaking of that, how did you find adapting to this business model? Like, did you find starting to create the scripts, create the videos, was it difficult at all? Was there a learning curve, or did you find it fairly straightforward?
Yeah, it was hard at first. I was just kind of throwing lines together. My first 5 scripts were just terrible. No flow to it at all. Just
Mm.
didn't really make sense. But then what really like moved the needle for me is I started looking at winning ads and I started to see how they flow through the whole script and how they transition and it's how they like kind of like tell a story and paint a picture, and I was like, that's what I'm not doing to my ads. So I started applying that to my ads and I started seeing better success. That's something that really helped me a lot in the beginning was looking at other winning ads and seeing what they're doing that I wasn't doing.
Yeah. And did you find like the winning ads that we have in the course and the script software and all that sort of stuff, did you find that helpful as well? Like to just get on that level of like, of course, you have the resources there, but you still, as you said, your first ads aren't always going to be the best, because it's just like anything, you're gaining a skill. But in saying that, the skill is fairly easy to adapt to. It's not like you're becoming a pro basketball player or something. You're just writing scripts and making videos. So how
Yeah.
did you find the resources in the course to begin with? Did that help you along your way?
Oh, helped a ton. The winning ads, I think that was kind of the most helpful part. I really just like looked at the winning ads and like I said, I looked at what the winning ads were doing that I wasn't doing. And I started to apply that to my ads. And I'm not saying copy ads because that doesn't work. I'm saying apply the same principles that winning ads have, but put like your own words, twist to it. It's got to be original content.
Yeah, definitely. Like that's why we actually because when we first made the course, we're like, oh, if we just put like all our winning ads, like, 50K, 30K, 20K ad, like day ads in there, we were like, people are probably going to like just try and run them. But we put them in anyway, because it's really important. Like if someone doesn't actually see what works, then as you said, you can sort of have it with no flow, a bit like choppy here. It doesn't really, flow. But as you said, once you know what a winning ad looks like, you can then sort of see the flow of it, like the way the script flows through all our like, script formula, the way like the scenes flow. And that's the most important thing. Another important thing to know is like people can't believe these ads make so much money. Like when
Yeah.
someone like looks at one of the ads we have as an example, like the 50K day ad, they're just like, they're like, how does this make that much money? Because it's like, it's so people think to make 50K a year, you need to work like a full 9 to 5, and for just this video ad with like a robot voice to make 50K a day, people are like, how does that even work?
I know. So many of my friends and family, they always ask me to show them my ad. And I was like, it's on my laptop. I can't, I just don't want to show them because they're not going to believe it.
Yeah.
They're going to be, there's no way that this made you that much money, but it does, that's YouTube ads. You could reach anyone in the world at any
Exactly.
time.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing people don't understand. Like, how does it make that much money? It's like, I always say it, the way I always came into it was like, there's like billions of dollars flowing through the economy every day through the health space, like billions of dollars every day. So all you need to do is just have like a little funnel that just taps in. And if you just get like 0.02% of that, you're a millionaire, basically,
Yeah.
That's like the whole strategy. There is so much money flowing through the economy every day. You just need to find a way to tap into that. And then boom, you can make so much money.
You just have to be the one in the middle of it.
Exactly. Exactly. So do you think actually seeing the winning videos was the difference in your breakthrough? Like you were running videos, they weren't really having success, and then you went back to the course, looked at the winning videos. So you think that was the main key to your breakthrough? Or was there any other tips
Yes.
or anything that you have?
Yeah. So that, and just actually watching like YouTube ads, just actually like watching what other YouTube ads do, look at like, just like winning ads online, you can find winning ads pretty easily. And like another big tip that I have is like researching your target audience, like going on Reddit. And what I would do is like go on Reddit and you type in worst thing about diabetes Reddit. And then you have all of like your target audience saying what's the worst pain point for like diabetes. And it's really eye-opening because these are the people that you could be selling your product to. So
Yeah.
when you're you're gonna like touch up on these pain points, you're gonna hit all those pain points and it's gonna like resonate with them so well. That's kind of a tip that I do in my free time.
What you just said there is probably worth more than a whole like marketing degree at uni, like college or something, because yeah, the whole purpose of marketing is to like emphasize and relate to the target audience enough that they can actually connect with it. So if you discuss this like pain point related to diabetes or weight loss or something that is like so sort of niche and specific to like that person, then the person watching it is going to be like, this ad understands me, and they get like emotionally and even logically connected with it. And then that's what helps the sale.
Yeah, they're like this ad gets me. They
Yeah.
know me, and that's just a little tip, just like knowing your audience and yeah, and a lot of that you can find in the VSL. I watch the VSLs take notes. What kind of language are they using? What kind of pain points they use in the VSL? That's helpful too. And a lot of those pain points are going to be in the VSL.
Yeah.
Those are really the biggest tips I have.
So you were saying you tested a lot of videos and then you found the one that won. Was that one? So you found a winning video, but you kept improving it. Was the one that was like the best? Was that the one you scaled for like seven months, you said?
Yeah.
And so just for everyone, were you putting in a lot of work once you found that winner, or were you just sort of kicking back, like watching the money flow in?
Just making sure it's running, because there were times along the road that Google would like just randomly disapprove it. So I would just like change the headline a little bit and then resubmit it, and then it'd start running again, uploading the sales back to Google. And that was all I was doing, is watching the
Yeah.
money come in and just loving it.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I mean, I don't always say that this business model is passive income, because you have to put in the work to begin with. But I mean, once you get something running, it like pretty much seems like sort of passive, like, and it's crazy. I don't think there's any other business model out there that you can have such massive success with such little work, like drop shipping, agency stuff. Like I tried it all back in the day, and that's why I stuck with affiliate marketing, because it's literally, I think like where else can you make $700,000 profit months with such a little work? I don't think there's anywhere.
I know. I would show my sister. I was like, "Oh, Tony, check this out. I had made like 20 grand." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I've only like worked like 5 minutes today." And I'm trying to get her on it, and like I said, you can't lead a horse to water. You can lead a horse to water, but you
Yeah.
can't force it.
But no, that's something that I've definitely noticed as well, especially like having my own personal success. And then people see me like interviewing people like yourself and successful students, because most people, like even the friends, you could send them something, they might not even watch it, So what would you say to like people watching this right now? Or even if you could go back to, I always like to say, if you could go back to yourself before you started, when you're working in Walmart or something, like what would you tell yourself, or someone watching this right now?
I would just say, like, take a chance, take another chance. Don't give up. I very easily could have gave up after 5 videos that weren't profitable, but I didn't. I kept going because I knew what had to be done, and I truly believe that absolutely anyone could make this work. It's just a matter of doing what needs to be done.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And I think the biggest thing is like having belief in yourself and never giving up. That is the biggest thing. Because if you know that you could become a millionaire, why wouldn't you give it your 100%? Like, why wouldn't you give you your 100%? Or even why wouldn't you take the chance for that to happen? Like, why, if you can see that it's possible and you can see that you have a better life, why wouldn't you just like take the chance? Because if you don't take the chance, nothing's ever going to happen, And like the biggest quote, I just mentioned it earlier, is like, if you want things to change, you have to change. So you have to take that like step, man. And, you had only $2,000 in your bank account. And as you said, that was the biggest thing, like just taking that risk. Because what could happen? You lose 2,000, you get another job, you make it back. It's like, if you didn't have that mentality, bro, you'd still be sitting there with maybe $3,000 in your bank account, $4,000 in your bank account right now. Like, yeah, I've doubled, you saved up $2 more grand, but that would be nowhere compared to where you are now.
Exactly, man. I'm glad I took the chance, and I'm glad that I'm rolling with it. It's really been life changing. I mean, what else could I say?
Yeah. just to wrap it up here, what would be like the takeaways from your success? If we touched on it a little bit, like, you know, how has it changed your life so far? Because I mean, for most people, making even 50, like maybe making 50 grand online would change their life, but to make, you know, 30 grand a day, $700,000 a month.
I've always wanted total freedom in my life. You know, I'd always worked for bosses. I'd always been like told what to do. You know, I've always like hated where I was at, and I had always wanted freedom to do whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, with who I wanted. You know, and that was kind of the biggest like driving factor for me is like making this work, is because I knew like what I wanted in life, and that was like complete freedom. And I mean, this business model can do that for you.
100%. Definitely, man. Yeah. And if you want it bad enough and you're consistent and persistent, then the world can literally just be yours if you really want it to be, you know, and you're absolute evidence to it. Like, we've had so many student interviews, and like, it's just so evident to me now, talking to so many successful students, that it's like anyone from any walk of life can make it happen. And they all have the same thing. It's all, you know, even though it's sort of cliche to say, everyone has the same mindset that you just said. Like, obviously you have to have the tactics, you have to have the awareness of the business model, but it all just comes down to the awareness of like, I'm going to make this work. I'm going to take the risk. I'm going to take the chance, because that is the biggest thing. No one would have success without those initial like ingredients. If you don't have those initial ingredients and the willingness to succeed, then you're never going to succeed. And that's really what it like comes down to.
Yeah, I just wanted to like piggyback off of that. So when I had done Facebook ads, I just dipped my toes in it. You know, I had my account shut down, but with this, I went into it thinking I'm going to make it work no matter what, you know, and I think that's why like I was so successful, is because I went into it with that type of mindset.
Yeah, exactly. That exactly right. You know, 100%. And what are your goals for the next like year?
You always want to beat your last, you know, so 90K in one day, that's my goal. I'd like to beat that. I'd like to beat 6 figures in a day.
Yeah.
And that's it. You know, that's my goal for next year.
100%. Yeah. And I mean, you definitely can. Like, we've had, I know people that have done like 6 figures in a day. So it's definitely possible, man. The first levels to break through is like realizing that, you know, money's evil or negative or something. But then it's like, all right, you can make $1,000 in a day. That, for some people, you just have to sort of break through that mindset. And then once you've made thousands of dollars a day, tens of thousands of dollars a day, you realize how actually possible it is, you know? And so then that opens up the world to so many possibilities and opportunities. Like, you literally just start to think differently. You can see what's possible, and you realize that your mind is the limit. If you think that you can't make $1,000 a day, you can't make 1,000. You know, we think we can make $100,000 a day. There's nothing really stopping us from hitting that except for ourselves.
Yeah. And once you start making some like serious money, you start looking at money differently. Like before, I thought it was like, oh, this is like just for me to like survive, you know, and now I see it as like a tool. You know, I deploy it out and I'm like, all right, I'm going to spend this much money and make this much back. I'm investing a little bit. So I know I'm going to throw out some money here and get some money back 8 months down the road. You know, you start to look at money differently.
Yeah. Well, it opens reality up from like scarcity mode and survival to like abundance and opportunity. And then, you know, it does make life more enjoyable because you're not in that scarcity mode. You're in that like abundance opportunity mode, and you get to experience life better. You get to help the people around you. And like, I think money is just energy. Like, it allows you to just have so much energy in life and achieve more things and live a better life at the end of the day.
You hit it on the nail, man. That's exactly it.
You know, it's been absolutely amazing to talk with you, bro. Like, I'm sure one day I'm going to come to America sometime soon. So we'll definitely link up. You can take me for a ride in your R8. Show me around where you live, Palm Beach or Long Beach? Palm Beach, yeah.
Newport Beach.
Newport Beach, yeah. Well, bro, yeah, we'll definitely link up in America sometime soon. But again, thanks for coming on here, man. It's been awesome to hear your story. I'm sure like you've inspired and motivated a lot of people.
Yeah, thanks a lot, bro. It was nice meeting you, and we'll definitely meet in person. Let me know when you're in America.
100%. I definitely will, man. All right. But yeah, we'll wrap that up here for everyone. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Got a lot of motivation, inspiration, and golden nuggets from that. And I'll see you guys in the next one.